The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Assemble! You are watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have half of the usual suspects in the building. First, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
Hey.
Last, my name's Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today because we're going to be talking to you about a lot of different stuff, a plethora of reviews. We're going to be talking to you all about Constantine, the House of Mystery, which is DC animated project of shorts. We'll be talking to you about Sadako, which is Sadako. Is it at the end of the world? Yes. At the end of the world, because I thought it was Sadako at World's End for some reason, but that wasn't it. It was Sadako. No, it's Sadako at the end of the world. I had to change it in the description. That's why I know. Sadako at the end of the world. Hopefully I said Sadako correctly. If I'm not, I'm sure I'll hear it from Jay when he gets on.
The N is silent.
Right, exactly. We're also going to be talking to you all about A Town Called Terror, comic book. We're going to be talking about issues 1 and 2. So from Steve Niles, so we'll be talking about that as well. And of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll tell you how it is that you can do that in just a moment. But first, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this whole show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope you're doing well, good sir. Actually, let me just let the intern take it away. Intern, let them know what it is.
On the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
There it is. Join the party at fantasticforum.live. You can go ahead and jump into chat. Well, actually, you can't jump into chat there. But what you can do is you can watch from there. You can call in from there. And if you want to go to either YouTube or Twitch, you can jump into the chat room and we'll take a comment directly out of chat and bring it into the show, such as this. Insert witty chat comment here, Moses.
Yeah, Tiger Claw says, what's up, Fantastic Forum? What you thought of the She-Hulk Attorney at Law trailer?
There it is. She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So, yeah. I mean, let's talk about it, Mo. What did you think?
Man, look, that effect was terrible. But like, it looked bad. It just looked bad. Like I expected that type of shit from like. Remember No Ordinary Family?
Yes, I do remember No Ordinary Family.
That looked better than
wait, was she Hulk on No Ordinary Family?
No, but the effect.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking. Look, I thought. Wait, I remember I know what you're talking about now. What I was thinking, you said No Ordinary Family, and I was thinking Modern Family, which is a totally different thing. So I got you.
Modern Family with superheroes.
Look, that's what I was totally like. Did they do like a superhero thing on Modern Family? I don't remember that at all. Like I don't watch religiously, but I watched enough of them that I feel like I would have heard about that. But yeah, No Ordinary Family. Got you.
Like Halloween with the superhero costumes before. That's not what I was referring to. I just, when you think about a network show that has a little bit of merit, but doesn't have the right funding or the right people like caring about it, and then you see it in some of these effects. And that's how it feels here. And I don't think it's one of those things where I think it's just not ready yet. the
Right.
effect. They're like, you know what? We got a trailer deadline. It's a 3-month mark. Like this is the time to really push. But
if it's not ready, it's not ready, man. Listen,
yeah,
I feel like that the effects were so underbaked for She-Hulk in particular that I feel like they're underbaked enough that a day would make a difference.
it
You know
looks
what I
like
mean? Like if these guys worked hard for another day, there would be a significant difference between what we saw and what we would see the day after. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that as a novice. I don't know jack about like digital effects and CGI. Like I don't do any of that stuff. This is one of these times when I wish Oz was here to actually comment on stuff. Like it's crazy that the one time that I actually would agree with him on how bad effects are for something Marvel, he's not here. The one time. But yeah, man, it's wild.
And it's
outside of the effects. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, one last thing about the effects. It's like it's disappointing because we saw Loki, we saw WandaVision. Like they put like artistry into these effects, and even some of those are not good, but they're cinematic and they're like mini movies. Like something on HBO. Whereas this looks like something on Freeform. And
not Freeform. It's like this is her guest spot on friggin' Cloak and Dagger. This is her on the Runaways.
And it gave me the vibes of like, I know she had the series about this point like 6-7 years ago where the art was just really bad. The Charles Soule book was really good, but the art was bad. And then there's the Dan Slott one, like I think it's issue 7, She-Hulk 7, where it's a great story. That run is great, but that issue 7 is the worst drawn comic I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, oh dude, it was ugly. You're right.
I don't know if they're really trying to go with that feel of like good story, bad art.
We're recreating all the moments. Y'all like comics, don't you?
Yeah. Exactly. Take this, Moses. You want it like the comics? Here's some shitty art. Yeah.
That would be really funny. I'm waiting for the post-mortem with Feige so he can tell us that that's what he did. He's like, have you all heard of Fantastic Forum? Particularly Moses Magnum?
Yeah. He wanted it to be like the comics. He says we pick up these good things to make like the comics. So this is a shout out to him.
Exactly.
And that's like the story seems like moving on from the special effect. Tatiana Maslany's performance is amazing, even through that bad that bad effect. And she's gonna kill it. Like I already know she's gonna kill it. Like there's no doubt. I was just worried how she was gonna look, but she even looks like she's related to Ruffalo. Like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. If anything, the bad effects make her performance show out more. Because it really does look like just a green version of her made a little bit bigger. Like as opposed to like when Ruffalo does the Hulk, it's like you kind of have to like it looks like him, but it kind of like looks like Hulk more. You kind of have to look into the face, so you'd be like, "Oh, there he is." It
looks like,
and this is like, no, it's her.
How Ruffalo would fantasize about himself being buff. It looks like. Whereas the She-Hulk, as bad as it is, still looks like Tatiana Maslany doing like a play where she's a different person.
Right. Mo, check this out, dude. So right here, Belize and JB. Says, well, hello, Mary Young. Guess who? Guess who that is, Mo?
Who is that?
That's my dad.
That's your dad, Mr. Young?
Yeah, absolute.
I have to have a big, long conversation with Mr. Young. There's a lot of questions.
Dude, you would look. Not only would you love my dad, but my dad would love you. I think he'd be like, man, this was the son I should have had.
Yeah. It's like I always every time Larry can't do anything athletic, I said that's why your dad left. So.
Well, he's shown up, not because I'm not any better at the athletics.
Yeah.
Not because.
But you like MMA, so that's a right step.
That's true.
Athletic.
That is true.
Oh, it's your aunt, Larry. It's your dad.
Oh, shut up! Wait, what? I'm sorry. It's not my dad. It's my Aunt Diana. Oh, I'm sorry, Aunt D. Never mind. Like, I should have known. My dad didn't show up again. I should have known. Well,
we shouldn't bust his balls
to the show
because he hasn't even formally met me yet.
I'm sure Dad is sitting there with her listening because they're in the same place. So there it is. I thought that was Dad because that's who I had spoken with before the show. But I'm sorry, Auntie. It's good. I'm glad that you're on watching as well, Auntie. That's awesome. I'll probably see her tomorrow.
I'm glad I didn't say anything too perverse so far.
No, listen, the night is young,
and I'm glad Oz isn't here.
Indeed.
Yeah, at least I can blame it on him. But yeah, man. But back to the She-Hulk, man. It's like, man, it looks like Tiger Claw in chat said that it has like an Ally McBeal vibe, and that I can kind of see that, and that was a pretty decent show for what it was. And once you add superheroics to Ally McBeal or like a Sex in the City, like I'm in, because that makes it those are some interesting comics that kind of do that genre mixing, and I love that.
And like, I mean, I guess I can't really speak on Sex in the City because I haven't ever really watched it.
Yeah.
But Ally McBeal, I've definitely watched, and Dan Slott's run has an Ally McBeal feel to it. Yeah. It just also has a Marvel universe. Like if Ally McBeal was in the Marvel universe kind of thing going on with it. Ladies and gentlemen, our silent assassin, Jay. What up, Jay?
He's muted.
You don't have to be that silent, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, okay. Like he was muted. Okay, my bad. I was like, why is he don't have to be that silent? He's like, this fool's stoic today. What up, man? We're talking about the She-Hulk trailer. Have you gotten the chance to see it by chance?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What did you think of it, Jay? What are your thoughts?
It looks okay. Like,
tell us what you really feel, Jay. Don't hold back.
Like, it looks like it has promise. Like, it definitely looks like it's a step above like a CW show. But yeah, like it has promise.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. And Jay, did you get to read that Dan Slott She-Hulk run? I forget. I know you read like an issue or two for the show. But have you read that in general? That was the one that had that really bad art. Yes, we actually talked about that.
There was a
like
there's two that has really
trying to build up. I'm still trying to build up like the fortitude to look at the art. Like I do want to read it because the story is good, but I haven't.
Right.
Like I can't. My eyes.
I think
I'm thinking of the Sewell run, though.
Yeah.
The Slott run, I did not see.
They sold out really quick, and you couldn't get them in, and they went out of print the trade paperbacks. So there was a big. I don't know what they were trying to do with that, but they did some weird shenanigans. But they're coming out. That's one of the news that Dan Slott revealed on Instagram earlier this week, that they're doing a definitive collection of all his run in one volume, deluxe edition. So
that's cool. Yeah, even the poster like is like an homage to one of the covers of the issue from the Slott run, which is cool. Like, she's like going into the courtroom.
Yeah,
so it's cool, man. It's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping that we get a Daredevil cameo again. That'd be awesome. Like I'd be shocked if we didn't.
Yeah.
Especially if we're talking about like superhero lawyering, like superhero law. It's like, how can we not have Matt Murdock as opposing counsel. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. And we got friggin' Blonsky back, huh?
Yeah,
that's another thing that I was like, oh, that's gonna be cool.
And human form.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. Look, dude.
What if they turn him into the Red Hulk?
How can they turn him into the Red Hulk if he's already Abomination?
Look,
but
because they already have an Abomination in that show with that effect on She-Hulk.
What were you gonna say, Jay?
Aren't they gonna have to like change the story? Like,
yeah,
because we had Abomination in the Shang-Chi movie, like real Abomination.
Yeah,
but it's the same guy. In fact, the cell, like when they open the portal, it goes to the same place that he's in the She-Hulk joint. So it's like the same character. Is like they're not like it's not like he was free. I guess that's
so
his.
We're just pretending he always looked like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. We're absolutely just pretend. Like, come on, they barely act like the movie existed.
Yeah.
so it's not a far stretch for us to be like, oh no, the Abominations always look like it's like how we do for Sonic, you know. Like that other version of Sonic in that other trailer, like that didn't happen. No one, or in those pictures, meh.
Right. We've always been at war with Eurasia.
Right. Exactly. It makes sense. So, anybody you guys got anything else you want to say about She-Hulk?
One last thing is that I'm mad how good Abomination looks. Especially in comparison to She-Hulk, like, because he just looks better every time I see him. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's the whole thing where, you know, and this is why I'm like, they needed more time. It's like you have assets for Hulk, for the good-looking Abomination. Like this is stuff that you can pull from that's ready already, and you're just like basically putting it towards what you want to do this time around. But, you know, they're creating that She-Hulk stuff brand new. So it's like, which is, and, you know, that's fine. Like, I'm glad it should be brand new. Like, we don't want to, you know, despite what She-Hulk might have looked like in the comics relatively recently, we don't want the Hulk model for She-Hulk, you know, on She-Hulk, like her, like, you know, her face on that body. We want her to look like, you know, the She-Hulk that we're going for in this particular, adaptation, right? And so, you know, it's like they needed time to build that, but man, like they definitely need just a little bit more time because it wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. So yeah. So earlier this week. Oh wait, what's Tarklaw saying?
He says there's a character in the trailer that a lot of people seemed excited about. Frogman.
I was actually excited about that too. Like, which is crazy because again, this is like one of these things where, and I feel like I keep saying this over and over now. Like I feel like, you know, every few months, I'm like, man, I never thought I would see a live action adaptation of X character here. You know, and that's amazing because, like, I remember when they announced Guardians, and I'm just like, dude, I can't imagine that we would get a Guardians of the Galaxy movie in live action. Now I'm like, we're getting friggin' Illuminati, we got Frogman, we got Titania. Like, I'm just like, dude, like, it's crazy right now. Frogman? Like, how deep of a cut is that? I'm just like, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that how they incorporate him into the show or whatever. I don't remember him.
Are we going to be mad if they do him wrong?
I think we're obligated to. Yes, we have to bring the same energy we brought to America Chavez that we brought to America Chavez. We got to bring that to Frogman if they don't do worthwhile adaptation. We're like, hey man, you don't understand Frogman's heart. I agree. Look, Joe's like, this ain't no laughing matter. I'm sorry, Jay.
No, there was a tweet recently, and I don't remember who said it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna try and look it up real quick.
Oh, okay.
It was basically someone saying that there are going to be a lot of people in the next few days that are going to be mad that they turned the Hulk into a woman. And we should not get mad at them. We should just let it slide. Like it's our duty to just let it slide.
They're like, first Thor, now this.
That ain't my duty.
It's like Hulk's a woman, Thor's a woman, Captain America's black. God damn, America's happy. America's going down the tubes. You know? Oh man,
I hope I really run into somebody that's mad about that, because I'm gonna do some recording. Like without consent, no, it's gonna be a body cam footage. Like no consent, I'm gonna put them on blast. I don't give a shit. Sue me.
That's funny.
I'll get She-Hulk to represent me.
So earlier this week, and this is crazy because I'm not one to have been following what's going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because I'm just not that dude. It's like, that's their business. I get it. It's public, so people watch, and I'm not mad at them. And they're more within their right to do that. I haven't been doing it, but I did see a news story that came out because earlier this week it was confirmed from Amber's testimony that she's been released from her contract at Warner Brothers, and that her role in Aquaman 2 is greatly reduced. And so I just was like, did you all hear about this? And do you all have any thoughts on the idea that she might be in Aquaman 2 far less than she would have been otherwise, based on what's been going on between her and Johnny Depp in this whole case?
Jay?
Don't everyone talk at once.
Sorry. I found the tweet. Yeah.
Read the tweet, Jay. Read the tweet. Put it on the screen. No, I'm joking. You don't have to put it on the screen.
No, I do. It's too late. So, yeah, Matthew Rosenberg, Ashcan Press, is saying, comic fans, I'm begging you, someone who doesn't read or care about comics is going to tweet about how it sucks now that they made the Hulk a lady. Just ignore it and move on. We don't need to spend 2 days yelling about it. I promise. And yeah, that resonated with me.
Jay, I'm glad you brought that up. You brought this on screen because I just realized I bought What's the Furthest Place from Here, and I forgot, and I haven't read it.
That's on Ashcan Press.
Well, it's on Image, but Ashcan Press is his little studio thing. So.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
But I am gonna shame somebody for not knowing. Like they should, like they should. Or if you don't know enough about it, shut the fuck up about it. You know what I mean? That's something as a society we could all do a little bit more of.
Look, I couldn't agree more. Only because it's one of those things where it's like,
about it, Larry. If you can't agree more.
No, but it's like, really, that's the whole thing where it's like, if you don't follow Hulk enough to know that there's a Hulk and a She-Hulk, because that's the thing. Like, it'd be different if we were talking about like Red Hulk, you know what I mean? Or if we're talking about like, or even if we're talking about like Mr. Fix-It, you know what I'm saying? Which is like a more of a deeper cut. But She-Hulk, if you like Hulk, then She-Hulk is something that probably should have come up sometime, somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Not saying like, so it's just like, so that makes me feel like if you're like, oh, you think that they're making Hulk a woman as opposed to knowing what She-Hulk is, that makes me feel like you don't really follow Hulk and you just have your own different agenda. Like you're trying to, you're trying to stoke some stuff. You know what I mean? You're not really talking about comics. You're trying to talk about some culture war stuff. And it's like, hey, man, leave that. There's a place for that, but it's not on this part of Twitter.
Well,
you know?
You could do it on this part of Twitter, but just admit you don't know enough about Hulk to really make an argument with Hulk. You do it with something else, you know?
There it is.
And at this point, the gender bending in comics is like, or swapping rather, is a moot point. Like you can't even be mad about it at this point because there's multiverse versions of characters that are female. There's all this thing. So it's like any argument of anger that you have to back up the shit that you have with society as a whole is invalid here because they can tap into a multiverse. We really can't. It's like even the multiverse defense to our reality won't fix anything. So yeah, leave comics alone about it. You know?
There it is. So yeah. Okay. So now Jay, Amber Heard, what do you think? Were you looking forward to more Mira in Aquaman 2? Are you disappointed at all that she won't be in it as much?
Well, I always said her forehead wasn't big enough for the role. And
what? You feel like Mira has a big forehead?
Yeah, her forehead is huge. Like, it's just, it's out there. Like, it's just, man, it's like, her face is like half forehead. Like,
Mira in the comic, not Amber Heard.
Right. Like, she doesn't have enough forehead to be Mira.
Wow.
So,
I don't know that I've ever noticed that.
I don't know. And it might be her crown. Like, it just accentuates and frames the forehead. But,
because she pushes her hairline back?
Yeah. So it might be that. Like, maybe I'm tripping, but...
They should have got Tyra Banks.
Yeah, that girl has some forehead.
And I've seen her in the ocean. She looks good in the ocean.
There it is. Everybody knows that about Tyra.
But she does have a phobia with dolphins, so she can't shoot with dolphins.
Is that a real thing, or are you just messing around?
No, it's a real thing.
Why do you know that about Tyra Banks?
I don't know, but I do.
I don't know. Listen, I got you for it. Listen, I'm sure that'll win you points. That definitely gets you much closer to a date with Tyra Banks than it gets me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, oh, dolphins are sweet. She'd be like, I hate dolphins.
When she had her TV show, she confronted people with phobias, made them confront theirs, and then she has her phobia of dolphins. So she's like, I made these people go through that. I got to do my own thing. So there was like a little vignette about it. But there was a lady that was terrified of black people. Like her phobia of black people was like a phobia. And then she's talking to Tyra, and then Tyra's like, I'm black. And then the lady didn't know that Tyra was black. So then she's like, wait, no, you're not.
Yeah. She said, wait, no.
Yeah.
it was a white lady?
Yeah. And then she looks at Tyra, and then you see it start clicking. She's like, ah! It starts freaking out.
There it is. That's what happens. And same thing happened with Beyonce before the Formation Super Bowl performance. That's true. Like millions of white people were like, what is happening to Beyonce? She's changing before our eyes. My God.
But yeah,
so I guess she developed the fear of dolphins in elementary school because she had a dream.
Our crack research team.
She went to do the research. I thought, man, wait, I thought this was about to say something about Amber Heard. Apparently, Tyra's dolphin phobia. Okay, so in high school, what happened?
No, elementary school. She kept having a recurring nightmare of a pod of dolphins surrounding her. And she feels anxiety and panic whenever confronting or even thinking about dolphins.
Man,
So-
listen, I don't want to burst y'all bubbles about Tyra Banks, but Tyra ain't afraid of no dolphins, man. This entire story was constructed because she's like, I ain't gonna face my real fear. So what can I do that's gonna be cool?
What's her real fear? John Singleton?
Damn, why? Wow. Wow. Man, okay. I'm gonna leave that right where you put it.
Jay's looking, what? John Singleton?
Jay about to go look for the tea real quick. He about to dig that dirt right back up. He's like, since we being messy on this episode of Fantastic Forum anyway with Amber Heard, and it's like, yeah.
It's a shitty show.
Yeah, so anyway. So Mo, what about you, man? What do you think about Mira?
I mean, I didn't see her in the first one, so I only watched.
What do you mean you didn't see her in the first one? You watched Aquaman?
I only watched 15 minutes of it, and I'm like, I don't need to be watching this.
Did you not? You haven't seen Aquaman like start to finish yet?
I only watched 15 minutes, like the Black Manta's origin, pretty much.
Yeah, that's probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah, and that's how I felt, and I'm like, you know what? The rest of this isn't gonna be that good. So I'm like, I'm good. I watched enough. And
I mean, his Black Manta portrayal throughout the film is pretty good.
Yeah,
and there's some decent action scenes, and it's not like I mean, the film is not a waste by any means. It's just, it's just not like Jason Momoa is Jason Momoa's Aquaman as opposed to like actual Aquaman,
right? And I saw his Conan, and it wasn't. It looks like his Aquaman's a lot like his Conan.
His Aquaman and his Conan definitely share DNA. Yeah. However, his Aquaman portrayal is a better portrayal of Aquaman than his Conan portrayal is a portrayal of Conan.
Okay. And, and I have nothing against Momoa at all, really. Like,
no, dude, he seems like a super cool dude.
Yeah, he's grown on me a lot in other things, but I just never got around to finishing Aquaman. So.
Yeah, you should.
But so I look forward to not seeing her in 2 also.
You should definitely over the weekend, one of those days, partake in some substances that will alter your mind state and watch Aquaman. That'll probably be a good time.
I might end up liking it.
No, absolutely. I think you will like it in that way. Yeah. What'd you say, Jay?
The animated joint was better.
Well, yeah, because it's Aquaman. It's true. It's like what animated DC movie is worse than a DC film?
Yeah, like I mean, there's some, but it's rare and it's not the main dudes.
I think it depends on which one you're talking about, though, right? Because I'm saying, like, don't get me wrong, like, if you're saying, okay, there's some DC animated movies that aren't as good as, say, like, The Dark Knight, sure.
Right. Yeah,
I'll give you that, but like, The Dark Knight isn't the bar for DC universe movies. It's like, like, you got to pick a middle-of-the-road DC movie and tell me what DC animated joint's not as good as that one. You know what I mean?
Well, even for the most part, like their counterparts, like your Wonder Woman movie, even the first one, even though it was good, but you look at the Wonder Woman animated movie, and it's better.
Right.
The Jonah, like you look at a short, like, we're reviewing Constantine. You look at a Constantine movie, and then you look at the Constantine animated thing, and there you have it. But I don't want to spoil our review for that. That's coming up.
Yeah. Indeed. I see a quote from Derek H. there saying, is Amber still going to be in Aquaman 2? According to her testimony, she has a much reduced role, and she doesn't even I'm pretty sure her quote was, I don't even know how much I'm in it. Like, she said it like, like she could technically not be in it at all, but I think she believes that she's going to be in at least like a few minutes of it, as opposed to, you know,
We're
she
probably
was going to
kill
be in
her off.
more of it.
Man, what if they actually like redo the whole movie, kill her off at the beginning, and they just take Aquaman in a whole darker, more flashpointy way, and it
Or
actually ends up
friggin'
being
the hook.
the hook hand, yeah,
Yeah,
and he
the
ends
hook
up
hand Aquaman.
and he ends
Like-
up being like it ends up being a way better movie because they decided to get Amber Heard out of it.
Listen, that version of Aquaman, Jason Momoa, is much more like equipped to play.
Yeah.
Like that version of Aquaman is the closest Jason Momoa gets to being comic book Aquaman, without question.
Yeah.
And they play to that visually throughout the first movie, but dude he's not like that version of Aquaman is angry.
Yeah.
And Aquaman in Jason Momoa's Aquaman isn't angry. He's edgy, you know? He's pretty much happy for the most part. He just wants to be left alone to his life, you know? Yeah. Oz says they're going to CG her out and replace her with a dolphin. Oh, look, much to Tyra Banks' chagrin. Tyra was looking forward to this, and now ruined for her.
She's like, I can't see this movie.
Right.
That dolphin has a laser on his head? No way. I need to call my therapist.
Oh man. So wait, since you're in chat, man, if you've seen the She-Hulk trailer, can you comment on the CG while we have you? Because I don't know how long you're going to be here. So if you can, we'd appreciate it. But yeah. So we'll see how that goes in regards to Aquaman 2.
Derek JH says maybe Gal Gadot will cut off Amber Heard's head at the start.
That's
that would be amazing.
It would be wild. Look,
Right.
at this point,
that's what Johnny Depp is thinking. That Your Honor is would be amazing.
I don't put anything past comic book movies anymore because we got Frogman's in the MCU, so yes, that could happen.
Oz says CG looks like early PS4 games.
That is what it looks like. That is exactly what it looks like. Damn, what were they thinking? Anyway, okay, I guess we should get into reviewing some stuff.
We're doing the Constantine first, right?
Yeah, let's do Constantine. Let's go.
Comic book theater.
All right. So first up, a relatively new DC animated feature. Well, I don't know if you could call it a feature. It's or animated or set of animated shorts, and it is called Constantine, the House of Mystery. And so, I will say I didn't know anything about this going into it. And so I was actually shocked by what I ended up getting, just because I was going in thinking I was going to watch again, not necessarily feature length, but feature length for
Animation.
DC animated projects, because it was like 70 something minutes. So I was like, okay, hour 15 minutes. And, we're going to talk about Constantine doing some crazy stuff or whatever, and dealing with the House of Mystery. And I was ready for it. And sure enough, I mean, the joint started, and that's what I felt like I was getting. And then it ended. And I was like, huh. I literally was sitting there watching this joint, and I was like, huh. I'm like, I know that wasn't 70 something minutes. And and I hit the remote just to kind of see like how much time had gone by, and I think it was like, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe 20, somewhere in between. And I was like, huh. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of time left on this joint. Let me just see what happens. I let the credits roll. Because I literally was sitting here like, is this like some kind of fake out? Like, are they doing like some old, like roll the credits and then something's about to happen? Like, I'm like, that would be some old avant-garde type stuff for DC animated. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't usually get down like this. But then something completely different started with Kamandi. and I was like, Kamandi? And here's the thing. Like, you all know me. You know that I don't, like, dabble in anything like... Say what?
Like jungle dude stuff?
No. I was going to say, I'm talking about, like, I don't do, like, drugs or anything.
Oh, yeah.
But
especially
when it's
family's listening.
No, I mean, like, it just, you know, look, I don't, the closest thing I have to a vice is alcohol, I guess. And even then, it's like, no, I mean, I enjoy drinking, but it's not a problem. But either way, what I knew was, I was like watching this come on the screen and like said Kamandi, and I'm looking at the art, and I'm like, because the other part too was that the thing started over like completely from the beginning. That was the part that kind of threw me too, where it's like it literally does like the WB symbol, and it does like the DC like superhero logo thing, and then they has like these have a comic shop DC intro thing that they do.
Yeah.
And they did it. They did it for every short, which was so weird because it's like,
how many shorts are on this screen on this Blu-ray?
Dude, it's like 4 or 5 of them, right?
It's 4.
It's 4 of them. So this joint, the same way that Constantine starts, it does that for 3 additional times after it. Yeah. The only difference is that when the comic rack spins at the end, it spins to the issue of whatever it's the title card of what you're gonna see.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, so when I'm watching this happen again, I'm confused, and I literally said to myself like, am I okay? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm like, am I high? You know, like I was sitting here like, and then it said Kamandi, and I'm like, Kamandi, because I'm just like, Kamandi doesn't correlate to me with Constantine or the House of Mystery at all, right? And then the art comes on, like it's animated, but it's like it's Jack Kirby animated art style, which I've never seen before. And then I was like, dude, I'm high. I'm high because this doesn't happen. And then the show started, and I'm like, no, actually, I think this is actually happening. I was so confused because I was just like, no, this is real, and this is happening right now. And I'm just like, huh, wow, like I did not know that like, and I'm just like, the Constantine joint is just over. And the messed up part was I was like, damn, like, it's not even like it messed around and ended in like a way that like Constantine didn't get any happy ending.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think all of that put me in a whole different place where I was just like, whoa, like what is going on? And am I okay? And it's like, is this real? And it's like, yeah, this is like, I'm like, I didn't. And then so like I was okay once it ended, and I was like, okay, this is real. And then the thing started again, and I was like, no. And then I'm like, okay, no, I mean, this is just what they're doing. And I'm just like, man, this is a weird choice, man. Because it's not like they couldn't just cut back to the store comic rack and have it spin to a new comic. Like, you could have just easily done that.
Yeah.
And we could have gotten like one more minute from every episode, or a whole nother short. You know, like it's like as much time as we spent looking at the DC logo and the whole rigmarole of the Justice League, and then going to the DC logo, and then to this comic shop that only has DC products in it, which is kind of a nightmare of mine too. Like, you know, you talk about phobias. I was like, man, like, where is this comic shop that only has DC comics? Like, ugh. It's like, well, no, thank you. No, thank you.
This is kind of funny.
Only open on.
It's kind of funny because I don't think you were here when the last time we did one of these.
Yeah,
like, I think you were gone that day.
Yeah,
and we did the one with Death.
Yeah,
and I was actually talking about that experience of like the comic shop with only DC stuff. Like, it's weird and off-putting, especially when you see it like multiple times, like right, like one after the other.
And it's not even like, so everything is out without boards and bags, and like nothing. Like there's no like back issues. Like you can't go into a backlog because there's no boxes, long boxes. So it is a nightmare for a comic book shopper because you got to be careful. You don't want to bend anything. It's like walking on pins and needles.
Yeah.
Now, for a little context, a lot of these shorts are just extra features with other DC animated movies.
Mm-hmm.
With, I believe, the House of Mystery being the original content, and the others, I believe, like at the very least, I know Commandi was a special feature. I believe the Losers and the Blue Beetle one are also special features.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they'll collect them up and they'll sell them like this.
And I guess that's the thing where I don't have a problem with that, and I actually think it's a cool thing because I'm sure that there are people that, like myself, that haven't seen. I hadn't seen any of these.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was happy to watch it, and I enjoyed each one for what it was. And I just think that you should be more upfront with what it is. Like, and I know it says it up top. I noticed it after the fact, where like it does say up top that it's like not to say featurettes. I forget what it says exactly.
Showcase? You see showcase?
Yeah, animated short showcase. But the cover says Constantine.
Yeah, it doesn't say
the
other
House
one.
of Mystery.
Like,
right.
Especially when you're doing something like the House of Mystery, that was their supernatural, trippy, horror-y anthology. So it's an anthology in and of itself.
Exactly.
And we used to have the little captions of what else is in that issue, you know, like your Tales from the Crypt and all that. And there was that, and there was House of Secrets, and I forget, there's a couple other ones. But I didn't know. I would have bought it if I knew Commandi was on it. Instead, I just emailed them real quick for a press copy, and they just sent me like, hey, we're reviewing this. Can I get a copy of Constantine House of Mystery? And they just sent me the House of Mystery, and that's it. Nothing else. I wanted to watch Commandi. I wanted to feel high.
Listen.
Commandi is actually pretty good.
I believe it. I like Commandi.
Dude, it's like you're gonna love it when you see it.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting here like, and here's the thing, I know, like, I'm aware of Commandi's existence, but I don't know jack about Commandi, and that goes to what you were saying, Mo, before, or where you thought I was going, where you're like, yeah, I don't really mess with like the jungle superhero thing, like, you know, I don't do, the same way how it's like, you know, when you're talking about like Kazar and friggin' like Shauna, it's like I know those people exist, and they come across, like they pop up in the books I read every so often, but I've never once was like, let me go read.
I remember
their
when
book.
Kazar popped up in the X-Men cartoon, and I was like, and I told my brother, like, who's Kazar? Oh, he's this. I'm like, oh man, that's tight. Like, and then that's when I became a Kazar dude. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, no, I mean, dude hangs out in the Savage Land, and
He
the
protects
X-Men,
them. Yeah.
right? And the X-Men hang out in the Savage Land sometimes. So it's like,
Yeah.
so I know he exists, but there's no part of me that was ever like, oh man, I need more Kazar in my life. And so if I didn't feel that way about Kazar, being in the universe that I actually like, that I'm not out here looking for no Kamandi.
Yeah.
But I learned stuff about Kamandi from this little short that I was like, dude, is that real? Like, it's like, is that how Kamandi actually is? And I'm like, man, like, and then but honestly, I feel like the Kirby art animation is really what, like pulled me in, because I had never seen Kirby's art like actually animated. Like I've seen like the stop motion kind of comic book stuff that that gets done every so often, like the motion comic ish kind of stuff. But this was just like actually animated, but with Kirby's art style, and I was like, man, like this is pretty cool, man. Like I feel like it made me appreciate Kirby's art even more. Which is crazy, because I already was like, the only thing that I had to knock it on is like there was no Kirby hands. I wanted a Kirby like no. I was waiting for it. I was like, no Kirby hands in this joint. Like, what has anybody animated Kirby's art style yet like this? And no one decides to do the Kirby hand. I'm disappointed by that. Like I feel let down.
Maybe it doesn't lend itself to animation.
It doesn't lend itself to comics. It's like, why is that Celestial just out here? Like, why is it like,
I'll destroy all of humanity, and then the cover is like your face hidden by your hand.
Yeah, right. Like I'm saying, it's like it's not a thing where I'm like, oh man, like that makes sense to do, but it's a signature style that he did, and I'm just like, dude, I want to see that. If we're gonna be doing Kirby, let's do Kirby. So I don't know, man.
In Kamandi books, though, he didn't do the hands that much, so. Or as much, I guess. He did do them, but not.
I don't need Kamandi to do it. There were characters in there that definitely could have done the Kirby hands. I can think of at least 2 characters in that joint that would not have been out of place for them to do it. Yeah, so it didn't happen, but that's okay. It was still good stuff, and I was just like, wow, like, yeah, it was interesting. It was really interesting. So Jay, you mentioned all the different shorts they had. They had the Constantine joint. They had the Kamandi joint. They had the Blue Beetle joint, which featured the question, and then they had the Losers joint. Yeah, the Losers joint. Which one of those was your personal favorite, Jay? Which one did you like the most?
House of Mystery. Like, it's a good. Like,
you can say it, Jay.
Like I don't know if good story is the right thing, but it's definitely fun. Like,
it's a good story. It's just not conventional.
Well, it's a little too conventional. Like,
you think so?
Yeah. Like, as soon as it started, like, I knew exactly what was going on.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like it's easy to tell what's going on. And it's basically Constantine is in the House of Mystery and he's hanging out with his friends and they turn into monsters and kill him. And he, like, it keeps happening. And so he's trying to, like, he's basically stuck in a loop. And he's trying to, like, figure out why and how to stop it. And it's good. Like, I really enjoyed that. I like the reason it's happening. I get. Like, I pretty much saw that coming.
Right.
Like, he's a terrible person. And he feels bad about himself. Like, but yeah, it's like, it's still, like, really good and fun. Like, I like seeing him, like, torn to shreds by his imaginary children.
That definitely sounds like a Joe thing to enjoy. Mo, man, how did you feel about the portrayal of Constantine and all of the supporting cast?
I liked it. I mean, Nurgle was good as always, and the demons and Etrigan.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. They just showed him, but Jason Blood had a voice. I forget who does his voice. It was a good voice.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual House of Mystery, like when Joe says conventional, and it's like, yeah, it's unconventional. Like for someone like Larry, it's unconventional because you read Constantine in New 52 in superhero style books, you know. But if you read Vertigo or read that type of character in a less conventional or less mainstream storyline, you would get something like this. And this felt exactly like I said this about the Death one and this, that they're making these animated shorts when it's like the Spectre one, the Jonah Hex one. It feels like those comics that they show you on the rack. So that they show you the Jonah Hex one, they show you like an all-star westerns type from back. That was one of the other House of Mystery type anthologies. And you know, they'll show you something like that and show you Jonah Hex. And with this, they show you like the precursor to the Vertigo books, you know, the stuff they were doing before they had Vertigo. And it feels like a Vertigo story. Even the way they had to like, I don't know if it was a specific reason why they changed his design when he's here as opposed to when he was in the other movie, because it's a sequel or a
epilogue.
Epilogue of that other movie,
Apocalypse War,
which that in and of itself is like your more Vertigo-y type story that ties into the main DC universe, and it kind of gives you those concepts in a mainstream type way where they could have easily given it to you in the more Vertigo way, but you wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, or the majority of people wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. You know, it's more superhero-y with those Vertigo characters. And so here, you know, it's like, okay, this is what you get in Hellblazer. And it happened in comics a lot. You know, you would have Batman will be dealing with Constantine, and then Constantine will look a certain way in Batman's issue, and then go back to his book in Hellblazer and look like how they draw, like, you know, they draw it there. So it gave me that feel, and it felt a little out of place because it's all in motion, and you know, they when they show you the flashback, he looks back like that, like how he looked in the other movie, and then I'm like, no, this is, again, they're making it like the comics. Like when you read it, when he goes back to Vertigo, like he looks like a Vertigo book, you know. And so yeah, I like the tone. I like the dude that plays Constantine is perfect. I love that they keep using him even for the voice. And Lou Diamond Phillips as a Spectre is something that I want to see in live action. Like that's he needs to be the Spectre forever. Like I hope he gets typecasted as the Spectre.
Dude, wait, he was so good. It was like amazing. I literally was that was literally in my head just now. Where I'm like, that's the next thing I'm bringing up, because I was just like, because I was shocked because I didn't recognize his voice.
Yeah,
and so I was literally looking at the credits, like, who played the Spectre? That guy was good. And I'm like, Lou Diamond Phillips. Like, I was like, damn, like, why is Lou Diamond Phillips like the perfect Spectre?
Yeah. Look, and this is a weird opinion, but you know, if Johnny Depp doesn't make it out of this whole trial thing clean and they can't use him, just use Lou Diamond Phillips for all the things, you know, recast Johnny Depp for recast Lou Diamond Phillips for all the Johnny Depp roles. Because I think he could do all of that. Like the way
I can see Lou Diamond Phillips as Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, look, I could see him in the Ninth Gate. Like I could see him in fucking Loading in Las Vegas. Like retroactively get rid of Johnny Depp and put Lou Diamond Phillips in, because he has that weird voice and the Higgins, you know, like, and it works for the Spectre. It doesn't work when you're under oath in court, but it works for the Spectre, and it'll work for if you're playing Hunter S. Thompson in Puerto Rico. You know, recast the Rum Diary with.
I do kind of want to see his Tonto.
Oh, he'd be like, it'd be more appropriate.
It would be more appropriate.
Oh, it's closer,
It is true.
I guess.
It's
It wouldn't be
not appropriate, but it's more appropriate. Wait, but no, man, he is so good, and I agree with you. Like I feel like Lou Diamond Phillips could definitely play a live action Spectre. Like now, I didn't know that before.
Real quick before we lose this train of thought, this important train of thought, Jay, if you do want to see a badass kind of Lou Diamond Phillips as a Tonto type, watch Young Guns.
Okay.
Because he does the face paint and everything. Yeah, it's when they take the peyote, it's fucking tight.
I love Young Guns.
It's amazing. It's like a great fucking
Young Guns 2. I feel like Jay, did we go see Young Guns 2 together in theaters?
We didn't. I wanted to see it, but I never got around to it.
I probably went to go see it with my mom.
Jay forgot he was mad at you for not seeing it with him. He just remembered.
I'm mad at Jay because he wouldn't go with me to go see Posse. He's like, I don't go see the blacks. I don't see the blacks on horses.
Well, back then I saw all of them when I did.
There's a good
very different person back then.
There's a really good one on Netflix right now with the dude that played from Loki. Oh,
you're talking about The Harder They Fall.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. No, that joint is amazing. It's really good.
Good soundtrack too. I didn't think I liked it.
Oh, dude, I had no idea that reggae belonged in westerns.
Yeah, it just fits.
I had no idea. I had no idea. I was like, dude, you know what? This was been missing from westerns for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, damn, The Harder They Fall soundtrack. Cause you're right. It's damn, I can't remember old boy's name, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. The dude that's gonna play Immortus.
Immortus, yeah.
And that was in Loki, and Idris Elba. And I mean, look, I feel like we're not doing the movie service.
Was in it too. The chick that played Domino was in it.
Right. Everybody, Zazie Beetz is in it. Friggin'
Delroy Lindo
from Watchmen.
Yeah.
Delroy Lindo is in it.
He said,
damn it. Yeah, but no. The Harder They Fall is amazing. Damn. What? How can I forget Home Chick from she's amazing. She's so amazing from
Regina
Watchmen.
King?
Regina King. Thank you, Jesus Christ. And Lakeith Stanfield's in it too.
I don't know who that is, but I'm sure they were great.
He was Cherokee Bill
from Atlanta and Sorry to Bother You. And he was in Get Out as well.
That.
He's dude.
Yeah.
You need to be watching all of that. Like everybody that is within the sound of my voice. If you're not watching Atlanta, just stop it. Don't watch anything else. If you're not watching Atlanta, just read.
That billboard,
huh?
The poster for that one season still makes me uncomfortable.
Which one?
The one where they all have peaches in their mouths.
Yeah.
The commercials,
it's like Real Housewives.
The commercials look too humid.
Look, the show is humid.
Yeah. No, humid. Like it's sweating.
Dude, let me tell you, man, the show, it's so crazy because the show has always been phenomenal. But when you're talking about this season of Atlanta is on some next level stuff, man. And you can't, it's one of these things where if you want to, you could jump in at this season, technically, but you would be able to follow the narratives, but you'd be doing yourself a disservice because I feel like you have to kind of gradually work your way up into what they're doing. But it's an amazing thing, man. And I'm just like, man, Donald Glover, the dude is so talented. It makes me sick. Yeah.
I have a question about the show, but I don't want to derail us further. But I do kind of want to know if that dog breeding thing ever went through for the guy.
I would have to answer that off air because I don't remember what we're talking about. Like that's like
There's
season
one
2.
where, I think so.
Yeah,
Where
like
the
I would
dude
have.
needs money, and he goes to the dude like, "Can you give me some money?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can either get you like a little bit right now, or I can get you a lot." And he's like, "A lot."
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember what you're talking about. Like, yeah, we should talk about that off air. Because yeah, I don't think I don't know if there's a simple answer to your question, but yeah, that is, yeah. It's Atlanta, so no, there's not a simple answer. Okay,
So
let's talk about some of these other shorts.
All this to say, Lou Diamond Phillips was amazing in
Dude,
House of Mystery.
like 100% MVP in that short, and it was like, and also too, just the part where they're like walking between realities,
Yeah,
or walking. Yeah, it was just so good because I've seen that in the comics,
yeah,
and I'm just like, oh, like it's one of those things where I never would have thought like, oh, I want to see that animated, like I want to see that in animated form because it's kind of like background, and it's cool that they walk in what looks like space. But it's one of those things where it's not like a flashy thing. But now that I actually saw it, I was just like, "Oh, that's so cool, man!" And I love that they did that. Like, I was happy to see that in animated form.
What if in Dark Crisis we end up with that Constantine coming back, like helping, learning what he learned?
That'd be crazy. Look, it would be amazing when we get to the point where comics and the TV and movie mediums are meeting, like where shows are in continuity with whatever book you're reading. Like that will be a pinnacle point for me in particular as a comic book fan, but just because it's like I love I still talk to this day about friggin' the Ultimate Spider-Man video game.
Yeah.
And how that joint was in continuity with the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book. And like I bring it up as like just this high point in narrative where it's like I could be reading this book and then put that book down and then go play this video game, and what happened in between those two, like between that issue and the next issue, some of that is covered in the game I played. Like that's amazing, and it's like it hasn't happened since then, as far as I know. I'll say it like that.
It was a good game too. Like it was a really good.
That's the important part, right? It's like it doesn't matter if the game sucks, right? It's like if the game sucks, then it's like, no, we want to forget it. But no, the game was amazing. And in continuity. Because it was written by the dude that was writing the comic book at the time. It's like, ooh. I love it. I love it, man. It's so cool.
But yeah, all these other shorts, I mean, Jay, you said the House of Mystery was your favorite one there. Larry, what was your favorite? Oh, Larry's gone. No. I didn't see the other ones.
I'm sorry. Here
you didn't want to flash your pussy?
Well, just because you asked for it, there it is. Damn. I made you famous, Boston. I made you famous. Look at the camera at least.
Yeah. He's like, nah.
Look at the camera. Look there.
You pay me to look at the camera.
Oh, now you want to act like you don't want to be here, huh? See, look. Say something, Boston. Meow for the people. No, okay, then get out of here. So my favorite. Oh man, it's hard to say only because, like, honestly, I liked them all. I think I have to go with I think I have to go with the Commandi one.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, no, really, but I think it's more so like, I think it's more so my experience with like resting in it, because literally I was so confused, and it turned out to be so awesome. And but I think the or not the problem, but I think the part of it was just like I was like, what is happening? And then I'm like, Commandi, and then I'm like, okay, and I'm like they giving me like an introduction to Commandi, but in a subtle way. It's not an origin story. It's just it's just a story that happens to tell me a bit about his origin. And so it's a separate story that mentions and, you know, like fills me in. So I kind of, but I don't feel like, you know, I have to go through an entire thing of like, oh, this is what Commandi's all about and where he comes from and all this kind of stuff. And it's a short story, you know what I mean? And it's moving Jack Kirby. You know, it's moving Kirby art. So I'm just like, I think that whole experience definitely like upped it for me. But at the same time, though, I will say this: I think Commandi is the right answer, but I also really enjoyed. I enjoyed them all, for the record, but I really enjoyed the Blue Beetle joint too, because the Blue Beetle joint was done in the style of like the old Spider-Man cartoons.
Okay.
And so it's like if you have Blue Beetle, but in that like, you know, Spider-Man cartoon style, like literally with a Blue Beetle theme song that is clearly inspired by the Spider-Man theme song that we all know. But it's not like, oh, just like put Blue Beetle in for Spider-Man. It's like they actually like tried to come up with like, well, what if Blue Beetle had a song in that era? You know, it's like what the song they came up with feels like the song the people would have come up with that were like, well, this Spider-Man cartoon's a hit. We have a insect hero. We got Blue Beetle. Let's do a Blue Beetle cartoon. And if they had made that cartoon, this is what it feels like. But it feels like they made that cartoon, but with a slight bit of modern day sensibilities. And that makes it awesome because like, even to the point where there's parts in it where, you know, where in the same way in that Spider-Man cartoon back in the day, like if they had multiple characters doing the same thing, they would just use like the same animation. Yeah. Like that happened in this joint where it's literally like 4 henchmen jumping out of a window and they literally jump out the window the exact same way with the exact same sound effect. And it's just like, and it's hilarious because it's funny. I have to go back and look at it, but they use the same animation, but the henchmen are technically different sizes. They're in the same costume, but they're technically different sizes. I don't know if they're all the same size in that moment, or if they're different sizes just doing the same animation and the same sound in the same way. But either way, it's brilliant because it's just like it's so much an homage to like that era of superhero animation, and having grown up watching cartoons like that, it just felt so good. And it was like Blue Beetle, but and the question,
yeah,
in that style of cartoon, but with modern sensibilities. Like, look, I'll tell you, a line that came out of that joint that I'm like, oh, I'm using that all the time now, is the Blue Beetle asks something to the question, and the dude says, that seems like that's a question for your urologist. He says, that's a question for your urologist. And I was just like, dude, I'm so going to use that. People ask me some stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know the answer to that. Like, that sounds like a question for your urologist.
That might
just
be the
like
title of this episode.
look them dead in their face and see what they say next. You know, don't even crack a smile or nothing. Just But yeah, man, I was like, that is funny, man. It was a really good I feel like if there's a part of me that feels like if the Blue Beetle was the second episode, maybe I would say that was my favorite because of that experience. But at the same time, I don't think so because I wouldn't have known I wasn't high from the Spider-Man-esque kind of thing going on and Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Like it was 100% Kamandi
like,
and Kirby combination that made me feel like I was high.
I think with Kamandi also, like, well, I guess it's more of a question. Did Kamandi or Blue Beetle or any of these made you want to see more of these, like maybe in a series form?
Yeah, 100%. Like I like, and I think the only one I didn't feel that way about was the Losers. Honestly,
Okay.
like I think, and because I feel like the Losers, I felt like the story was more there was more definitive ending to that story.
Yeah.
But as soon as Constantine ended, I was like, I want to know what happens next. And then same thing when Kamandi ended, I was like, I want to know what happens next. You know what I'm saying? When Blue Beetle and the question joint ended, the question wasn't, I want to know what happens next, but it was like, I want more of this. Like, I would watch the next episode of this easy. You know what I mean? No question.
The way you
and like I said, Losers.
The way you described it, like a retro-y kind of feel, but tongue-in-cheek, is like perfect for like an Adult Swim too.
Oh yeah, 100. Look, it would fit really good on Adult Swim, and it definitely. And I feel like people would watch it because the audience is like, I remember watching cartoons like this, and they, and like the crazy thing is like you put that joint on Adult Swim, half the people watching it won't even realize that Blue Beetle is like a real comic book character.
Right.
They would just think like, oh, this is like a Spider-Man parody thing. And I was like, no, that's actually a DC character that exists, But yeah, but it was a good episode, and it definitely made me feel like I would watch more episodes that are like this. Like I would watch Blue Beetle every week, without fail. So yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, Kamandi is what I have to go with. Short story long.
So we should rate this too, I guess, unless you have anything else to say. But
I'm good. Jay, you have anything you want to say about the other shorts? Because I mean, the only one that we didn't really go into is Losers, and I will say that
have you seen the movie?
It's nothing like the movie.
Yeah, it's nothing like the movie. I agree. I did see the movie too, but no, this is like class like World War II. The Losers.
Okay.
Like that's Sergeant Rock, right?
Yeah.
No.
It's not Sergeant Rock in the thing? Like I think it's like he doesn't get called Sergeant Rock. They just call him Sarge. But let me just look what he looks like in the comic real quick. Hold on. Because I feel like it. Oh, you know what? No, you're right. That's not Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock
also
looks
would be
different.
weird because Sergeant Rock had his own DC showcase.
Oh, he did?
Which was amazing. Yeah. It was Sergeant Rock and the Creature Commandos. Dude, it was so good.
Oh, okay. Oh.
That's the one I watched silent, I think.
Say again?
That's the one I watched without audio, I think.
I feel like the Losers animated joint that we saw, like that made me feel like I would want to see like maybe a full-length movie of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like the
other movie would be better.
Yeah. And it's like, the other joints felt like episodes of like a really good show, but that joint felt more cinematic, and it was really good, and it felt like it had a more definitive kind of ending to it, and so that's why I wasn't like, I want to see more of this. It's like that story's over. But I would love to see other stories with these characters because they were good. They were good, and I want to like, you got to give a shout out to Ming Na Wen. Ming Na Wen is in it as a Chinese spy, and yeah, she's always phenomenal, but like she's no less phenomenal in animated form in this. You know, and I was sitting here like watching her, and it felt like watching her give a performance, like, because it was like, yeah, like, it's crazy like how good she is, and everything she does. Like, she doesn't I feel like there's never, some people are like, oh, they kind of phoned it in, or they didn't bring their A game today. You know what I mean? Like, where you mess around and you watch somebody give a performance and you're like, oh, they obviously didn't feel as good about that particular role as they did about this role over here. And I'm like, I don't feel like I've ever said that. Like, I don't like it, if Ming Na Wen says to me, I don't know what role I like the most, I kind of just put the equal effort into everything I do, I would believe her. I can't say that about every actor, because some people, it's like, nah, you don't listen. I've seen you in stuff. you don't put equal effort into everything, but Ming Na Wen put equal effort into everything, man. She is just phenomenal 100% of the time.
Okay, so we should rate this.
Okay,
who wants
Moses.
to go first?
I can only talk about John Constantine and the House of Mystery, and with the Spectre minimalist approach of what he does was amazing, and the House of Mystery was good, and Constantine, the dude that plays Constantine, is always great. I enjoyed it a lot, so that alone gets 5 out of 5. And now I should have bought it because I missed out on all these other cool things that you guys got to talk about without me.
It's okay, buddy. We'll make sure you see it still.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you say?
I would give it a 4 out of 5. Like, these are all pretty enjoyable, fun. Yeah, like, they're just a good time.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5, only because, while I can totally respect that this might not be for everybody, it was 100% for me. Because it's like, not only did it tell, story is king for me. So all the stories across the board were good, solid stories. But then on top of that, I felt like it did a lot of, or each short had a lot of heart injected into it, and it felt like they were each short had a particular thing that it was trying to do that I felt it executed and succeeded at really well. And so, it was just an all around enjoyable experience for me. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. So cool. Gents, what would you like to talk about next?
I would like to talk about Sadako.
Cool. Let me hit the review theme.
Comic book
review.
Comic book
Like
review.
Well, not like that, but like. Ah, shit.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part. It's okay.
I switched
Sadako.
Yeah. Jay,
it's okay.
You read this digitally, right?
Yes.
Okay. On Comixology? Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How was your experience in swiping pages?
It was good. Like, I didn't have any issues.
Okay.
I was able to zoom in when I needed to, and yeah. I think I was able to zoom in. Like, it doesn't have the... it doesn't have the panel view.
The guided
Oh, the
view, right?
guided.
Yeah.
Guided view. This one didn't.
Yeah.
But I could zoom in when I needed to.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us what Sadako is, and then we'll get into the real hatchet job we got planned.
Okay, so Sadako is from The Ring. She's the demon from The Ring. And in this story, she is watched by two girls who are the last two people on Earth. And so she begins like kind of just hanging out with them, haunting them as they go, searching for more people, and Sadako just wanting to like do her thing and kill, and the girls who just kind of just do their thing and survive. And yeah, this is what the girls travel with Sadako. They meet an old woman and a hairstylist, and I think they meet another vengeful ghost, and they kind of just have these adventures at the end of the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mo, do you want to, before we get into it, do you want to tell us about your experience?
Yeah, I bought it. I decided to buy it on Apple Books because Comixology and Amazon are being a little weird, and Apple Books actually kind of does what Comixology and Amazon do already. Like they have pretty much all the same books. They don't do any of the deals or price issue things like the price drops or anything, but I'm okay with that. Like when I'm just buying one thing at a time. And I was reading Sadako on my iPad, which is, iPad Pro with a $1,200 piece of machinery.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a screenshot because flipping the pages was a fucking hard, like, it's a manga. So I understand everything runs in different direction.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, they decide to, instead of giving you one page at a time, to give you two. So you're scrolling through an image of the two pages, and then before you know it, you accidentally flip a page. So
That's weird. Like,
yeah,
because Amazon, like, they have the thing where you could choose to look at two pages instead of one.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I normally do the one page and just do it like that.
For some reason, Apple Books doesn't have that. I've seen it done for other things, just not for this. Like, and I took a screen grab of my experience in flipping pages. Hopefully, it translates to what I felt. It should be playing here. So it's like I switch pages and then it goes back. It flips to the other page and then goes back, and then before I know it, I'm not done reading, but I'm scrolling.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, and that's actually in the portrait view of the iPad. So I read it on the phone. I didn't share the video on the phone because the phone is a pleasurable experience. It automatically does one page, and it does a cool little like animation of flipping a page, like you're actually flipping a page. And because of the way the art works and the screen of the iPhone, like I don't feel like it's too small or anything. It just works perfect. So luckily, my purchase on the iPad translated over, and I just picked it up there, and I actually read the whole book on my phone. And it was a pleasurable experience. So then I'm like, you know what? But
nice.
I do need to, like, the iPad's like, that's what I got to read books because I want to see the art and everything. So I'm like, well, what if I put it in landscape mode? And I took video of that. Landscape mode it still does the 2-page thing, but the 2 pages fit exactly to the proportions of the iPad. So it feels like you're holding a book open. And I think that's kind of what they're going to, but they should make a suggestion like, read this in landscape, please.
Oh, okay.
Like that's that. And when I'm ready to switch, I just it flips, but it's it's a landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was my experience reading it. So it was a little tricky, and I actually got a bootleg version. Um, because I'm like, well, I paid for it already. What if I have a better experience reading on a bootleg site? And I actually read it on a bootleg site, and the bootleg site was really just one page at a time. And I just scrolled down, and it works because I get confused with the left to right thing, right to left thing in manga.
Mhm.
When you're going up and down, like nobody does up and down unless you're doing bootleg. So it feels like I'm reading any other, you know. So that bootleg is the more pleasurable experience, free, I guess. But if you, I felt like I had to include this because I really enjoyed this story. It was a almost like a weird genre take, like a weird genre swap for what you would think for Sadako, and the art in it is great, as minimalist as it may appear. But this really like cemented in my head that drawing manga is a whole different art form,
Mm-hmm.
because you can do things where you got to go really detailed, and other things where you just want to convey an expression and you can like dial it back. And it's usually one guy doing everything, so you can see like it's a cutting corner, but it feels like an artistic choice, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't diminish. Like when we read American comics, especially these with the deadlines, these monthly books, you see where like the good panels are and the bad panels are, and they ruin your experience of reading that book. Whereas here, it's like it feels like an artistic choice, and it just it the whole thing was a pleasurable experience once I figured out how to read it on my device. Like it made me feel like I really should have bought this physically, you know. But aside from that, like the story itself, like I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the little characters that hang out with Sadako, which is my thing. Like everybody, I watched The Conjuring 2, and there's a ghost that just appears in your face and says, "Get out of my house!" Yeah, and
Mhm.
he sits on his chair and just watches TV while you're trying to watch TV. And I'm like, "Hey, man, look, if I don't live in this house, they're gonna wreck it down. You're not gonna have a house, so I'm paying the bills here. You can watch TV in your chair, like that's fine, but we need to work out a schedule. Like we can be roommates, you know, like that." When I saw that movie, that's what went through my head. Like I'll talk to this guy because he's talking to me. He's yelling at me and like, "Hey man, you don't need to yell. I can hear."
It's like, listen, Ghost, be cordial.
Yeah, like you're high enough. Like you're lucky you don't have to pay rent because you're dead. But I do, and I have to pay so that you can haunt this place. You know, and that's kind of like that thought process is kind of what this story is in a little bit, where it's like these are the last dudes, the last kids on the planet, more or less, and Sadako kind of needs them to exist, but then she could be free if they die, but she doesn't know if she's gonna be, So it's a for me, it was a really interesting concept for Sadako. And
Mhm.
I actually found another book for Sadako too that I'm probably gonna get, but we'll talk about that another time.
Um, can I real quick share like my favorite part
Yeah,
of
man.
this? Well, my second favorite part of this book. Um, because they meet different people on their journey, and one of the people they meet is a hairstylist,
Yeah.
and Sadako with their hair done is hilarious. Like I was laughing so hard when I saw this
Dude,
the first time,
when I
and
saw
even now
that,
it makes me like chuckle. Like,
like,
look at
Like,
her.
she out here looking fabulous.
Right.
like it made me wish I was a hairstylist because I would get that tattooed. Like this dude literally like fixed a cursed demon or vengeful ghost. The what is it, what they call it in Japan, the Hanya, like the cursed
Mhm.
ghost, uh vengeful ghost. Like he fixed her hair and gave her like something that she never thought she would enjoy. You know,
she's fantabulous.
Yeah, and then he wanted to fix the nails too. Like, she goes to grab him. He's like, "Your cuticles are dead."
Your cuticles are dead.
I love that scene. Like,
Jesus.
Just him, like he's like talking. He's hanging out. Like he's a hairstylist, and he's just hanging out at the end of the world with no clients. But he's got the scissors in his hands, the shears in his hand. And talk about Kirby hands, like he points those things at him. Kirby and it's like, and then Sadako saves the girls heroically, thinking that it's a dude with a weapon trying to hurt them, which I thought was like, for me, was one of the best moments in this book.
Man.
Yeah, it was a great. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have read it otherwise, like unless it came up in conversation or something. But even then, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I was like, it's something to get to eventually,
I'll be honest. Like the premise sounded awesome.
Yeah.
Like, well, interesting. The premise sounded interesting, but what made me want Lawrence to read it was like the last panel of the main story. Which did you read that, Lawrence? Did that scare you as much as it scared me?
You know what, dude? I didn't get to it. I don't think because I thought we were supposed to read I didn't realize we were supposed to read the entire first volume, and so that was my bad. I thought I had read what I was supposed to read, but apparently I was supposed to go further. So I gotta see, but yeah, so don't the answer is no, but the reason is because I haven't read it yet.
Okay. I don't know. Did it scare you? Like I know it's pretty tough.
Yeah, no, it didn't scare me. In fact, it actually because I understand it's supposed to be scary, it kind of took me away from the story because I was like, well, because I always, even in The Ring, like Sadako is a tragic character, Same with The Grudge, and she's a vengeful ghost, but she's a vengeful ghost because of what happened to her. It's not she's a monster because humanity made her a monster, And to me, that's a tragedy. Like it's not even as much as the movie did scare me, and even how I found because I found the tape at Comic-Con when I was 16, and I popped it in and watched the actual tape that they watch in the movie, not knowing what it is. Talking about you hear a sound in your head, and then my phone rings out of nowhere, my landline rings out of nowhere because it says at the end of the video there was a website that said anopenletter.com. So I went right after it, dial up. And then it says you're going to hear, within 7 days, you'll hear a noise. And it's going to be a ringing in your ear. And then, bring, my phone rings. And there's nobody on the other side of the phone. Like, nobody talks. Like, it was weird. But I don't know if it was, like, weird, clearly weird viral marketing. I don't know if they had anything to do with my landline. Because, I mean, technically, the modem was tied to the landline back then, so they could have. Yeah,
I'm scared right now. I'm scared for the past version of you.
Yeah, I was scared too until I put in another video in the VCR called "Sluts in Toyland 2." That got the fear right out of me.
Is that what came out of you? The fear?
The fear.
Is that what you young kids call it? The fear?
I think that apartment still has the fear on the ceiling somewhere.
On the ceiling, right there it is. The fear, man.
But it was that. So, and then eventually The Ring came out the next year because that was a whole year that I didn't know, and I shared the video with Lloyd and my friend.
Dude, my God, a year?
Yeah, a year.
I'm so happy I didn't know you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. There's a part of me that would love to have known you before, but I'm happy I missed that. I want to know you after The Ring came out. I don't need to know you anytime beforehand. It's like, hey man, I saw this crazy thing. Why don't you look at it too? Like you're one of those people that's like, this tastes terrible. Here, taste it. No, I ain't tasting that, man. Why would I taste that?
Here's the thing. About 2 years before that, the video that, because I found the video in a dumpster, like at Comic-Con,
Mo,
and I took it.
Why were you in a dumpster, Mo?
It was like, it was a dumpster that, like, the viral marketing, like they just put a dumpster across the street and it was filled with videotapes and people just grabbed the tape. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was okay. You gotta be more specific. If it's a,
you didn't know that it looked like a trash can. Like, you didn't know it wasn't a real trash can. It just looked like every other trash can there.
But if it was all videotapes,
yeah.
Well, at the very least, you're like, okay, like I didn't mess around and grab it next to like a piece of like half-eaten chicken and like and a can ice cream cone that he didn't finish. You're like, the tape out is dripping. It's like a friggin' random piece of plastic with some unknown substance on it. It's like, was that a honey bun wrapper? What is that? But it's like, oh, wait a minute. I think that's never mind.
All this to say is this: seeing that there's a genre now of Sadako, like essentially fan fiction, that puts her in different scenarios with keeping true to what she is like, I think I found something new to spend money on and be a fan of. Like, if only they could get white covers on these mangas.
Hilarious. I will say this, even though I didn't get. Oh, go ahead.
And yeah, as a hairstylist, I wish I was a hairstylist, because I would so get that Sadako with the beautiful hair tattoo if I was a.
But dude, you're a barber.
Yeah, but
that's
it's
close
different.
enough.
Like,
it's different.
If I was at the end of the world and Sadako came to me, she wouldn't look like that when I was done with her. Like, it's different. It's a different skill set.
You give Sadako the tight fade.
Yeah.
Like, let her face show.
Yeah, they would think she was a lesbian. Yeah.
Oh, jeez, man. But no, I was gonna say that, I'm sure, or no, actually, well, I'm not. Jay, you told me what this was gonna be before I read it, right?
I think so.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you did. I forgot that though. So when I started reading this joint and I saw the cover, I was like, oh. Because that demon thing, it always puts me on edge. Like, I didn't see The Ring.
You haven't seen The Ring?
No, I saw Ringu.
Okay.
Which is the Japanese.
Yeah.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Ringu. Oh, go ahead.
No. For American sensibilities, like the color palette, the filmmaking in The Ring. I think it'll have a worse, like, as scarier as Ringu is. The tension in Ring, like, they work more for the tension than the actual scares, and I think would feature Larry more.
Well, but here's the thing, though. It's like, and you might be right, because what I will give you is this. Like, obviously, like, and keeping in mind that Ringu was made in a completely different time than The Ring was made.
And country.
But, well, yeah, definitely different country. But it's like, American cinema, like, they definitely build tension, especially when things they do with music and whatnot. Like, they understand psychologically what puts people on edge. But I feel like Japanese horror, and this is exemplified in Ringu, is like American cinema creates tension.
Yeah.
Japanese cinema makes you feel tense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it more taps into like the core, like into that little more like lizard brainish kind of thing going on. And I feel like Ringu.
Like, Ringu almost did the ASMR thing with the nails going back and Yeah.
Right, exactly. Where you're just like, dude, like, what? Like, I was literally like, I watched that joint on video, and I don't know why I watched it. Like, I can't even think. And I remember watching it at my grandma's house in the middle of the day, thinking, like, I'm gonna be okay, and I was so wrong. I was so wrong because it was so like the house was full of people. It was the middle of the day. And like I was thinking, like, no, I'll be okay. And I was just like, dude, I don't even know why I watched this show because I don't watch horror movies.
Yeah.
And it was in black and white. And I was just like, no, I'm gonna be all right. And man, I was so wrong. And when the American version came out, I'm like, I'm not even messing with that because I knew, like, in some ways it wasn't going to be as scary as what I watched in the Japanese joint, but in other ways I knew it was going to be more scary because like you mentioned, like, like they create tension.
Yeah.
And they do it with music, and of course the other thing is the visual effects were going to be much more pronounced in an American version as opposed to the Japanese original version. You know what I watched it for? I think now I'm thinking about it is I think somebody mentioned to me that the story was good, and the story is good, and I think that's what I watched it for. I think I was like, dude, let me try to get through this because they said the story is really good, and I want to see the story. And they were right. Like, the story is fantastic for Ringu. I don't know what the story is for the Ring and how closely it follows, but I was just like, I'm not messing with it.
It's still good. It changes some things, but it's still good. And in the way that the movie was actually praised, like kind of like The Sixth Sense, where it's horror cinema.
Yeah, man. But so with that said, my point is, I get tense every time I see that demon. And I'm talking about like anytime, like even like when, like, how sometimes like randomly there'll be like a YouTube prank or something where somebody like dresses as that thing or ends up like pranking people in an elevator and that person just comes out as that in the corner of the elevator. Like, if I see the preview, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, how did this get on my feed? You know what I'm saying? Like, who did this? I wasn't looking for Japanese horror, nothing. So I take it personal because I feel like somebody is targeting me, and so it's a crazy thing and it just puts me on edge. So I saw this and I was like, oh man. And then I read the book and I was like, oh, this is like a completely different thing, which again, like you just said, Mo, like it's crazy how you have like people that have put this demon into this additional genre or into different genres of things. And it's like its own kind of like, it's like a subgenre around this particular figure. And, and I won't lie, it still puts me on edge because I feel like, no, it does, because even though it's like
kids. She's sleeping next to these kids knowing she's going to kill them.
And I'm just like, that's eerie as hell to me. Because it feels like the demon's being the vengeance demon is being nice to these little girls for now.
Yeah.
And that's almost worse than trying to kill them right off. So I don't know, man. I'm just like, I don't know. I like, it wasn't what I expected. And that's the theme for me for this entire show. Like Constantine wasn't what I expected. This wasn't what I expected. A town called Terror is not what I expected. So, yeah.
Now, do you think you'll finish the book, or are you kind of done with it?
No. I mean, I'll keep going only because, like, I want to get to where you want me to get to. Like, I understand we had a mission, so I want to, understand and complete the assignment.
And don't worry, there's some fun extra stuff after the ending. So you'll be.
And that's the end of volume 1.
Oh, there's only one volume.
Yeah, it ends with this volume.
It's like 4 chapters.
Yeah,
and a little bonus thing at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bonus is fun, so even if the ending scares you like it did me, you'll have the little extra bits to like come down from it.
Okay. Listen, if I just throw my tablet out the window, don't be mad. All right. Son of a bitch! Like, it could happen. I'd be like, Mo, you got another tablet?
I do. I had to get a Kindle Fire. I had to get a Kindle Fire so I could buy comics from Comixology.
I was like, Mo,
can't do it on that.
I threw my tablet out the window. You got another tablet?
There's this other book while we're on the topic called wrong page. It's called Sadako-san.
Yeah, see? I don't understand why people like this thing so much.
It's Sadako-san and Sadako-chan.
She's just a cool. She's kind of a icon, like Freddy or Jason.
Yeah, but I feel like
it's actually a movie.
Jason.
Well, yeah.
The thing for me is
the point is she's iconic.
She's like those, but she's a character that I actually feel for too. You know, like I don't know. It's weird my whole thing with Sadako, but.
No, I mean, listen. Like, I feel like you're just tapping into the zeitgeist of the Japanese people. Like,
So,
obviously, some people feel this over there. They feel the same way.
So next we're gonna watch Sadako versus Kayako, right?
I watched it already. I didn't like it.
I don't know what that means.
2 out of 5.
It's basically The Ring versus The Grudge.
Yeah.
No, what?
It's a cool idea.
The Grudge isn't the same thing as The Ring.
No.
But the art in this Sadako-chan and Sadako-san is pretty good.
Wait, hold on. Hold it up, Mo. Here, there it is. It is nice. I like how they use the color.
Wrong side. Sorry. Ah.
Jeez, man. Why aren't these little kids afraid of this thing?
That's Sadako. That's Kitty. It's Kid Sadako. Like, so it's Sadako and Kid Sadako. That's what that's interested me.
Sadako, because her face, I can see her face.
Yeah, but that's Sadako-chan. That's like,
yeah, you were able to see her face when she was a kid.
Yeah, it's like before she became cursed, she goes to like. This is my American sensibility, just with those names. Like, she goes back in time and tells her, "Hey, man, don't trust these motherfuckers."
Yeah, stay away from Wells.
Yeah. But
okay.
I like Sadako. And I mean, if you want to talk about Sadako versus Masago or whatever, I forget the other one.
Kayaka,
yeah. I keep saying Masago because that's my favorite. Like, I love Masago on my sushi. In fact, I'll eat sushi while I watch Kayako versus Sadako.
No, I just kind of want Larry to watch it because if he watches it, then I'll have to watch it, and I've been meaning to watch it.
Yeah,
is it animated or is it live action?
Live action.
Live action.
I don't think I can do it.
What I can tell you, like, remember how like Freddy versus Jason like seemed like a good idea, and then when we watched it was like, you know.
Not gonna lie, I love that movie.
Yeah,
like,
but it's not good.
We know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see how it's not. I've had people say that it's not good, but I
mean, it had a bootleg Jay and Silent Bob in it.
I don't know what that means. What?
It had a bootleg Jay and Silent Bob in it. Like, there's a dude that's Jay and a dude that's Silent Bob in it, and the dude talking snoot, like just like Jay, and I'm like, you know. But they try to.
Cringy teenagers getting killed. That's what Jason is about, and it's what Freddy is about.
I get it.
All the people that are like, well, it would be better without the kids in it. It's like, No, that's called Death Battle. Like,
yeah, but I'm
fuck
not. I'm
that.
not like. Yeah, I'm not
paying
saying.
money to watch a
I'm not saying the
2-hour
kids.
death battle. Like,
I'm not.
I want
I'm
to
not
see
saying.
Freddy killing kids and Jason killing kids, and then they kill each other.
I'm not
Because
saying
they
the
want to
kids
kill
shouldn't
the
have been in there. I'm not saying the kids shouldn't have been in there. I'm saying two of those kids shouldn't have been Jay and Silent Bob. If you know,
kids. I'll say I like it. Like, and as far as like if you want to tell me that Jason X was bad, I'll believe you for that
yeah.
one.
No, look, and here's the thing with Jason, it's like I'll enjoy it for being bad. Like so it's not. But
I
the
love
point
Jason X.
the point I'm making, the people that thought that, because it's clear not you, that Freddy versus Jason was bad, thought that Sadako versus Kyoko made Freddy versus Jason good.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, no, you should. You should. I'm gonna watch it again too, and I'm gonna eat a bunch of sushi because Wednesday is my cheat day.
Okay, so let's rate this. We're running out of time.
That's a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5 from Moses.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
I would say 5 out of 5. It's good, and I love Sadako with her hair done, and the ending scared me. But then there was like cool stuff, extra stuff at the end, and yeah, it's just good. Like it's interesting seeing her in this different take, and seeing her like interact with people and spirits. Like I just thought it was really interesting.
Like when
a
they
cool
met
direction to have.
When they met
take her in.
When they met the other vengeful spirit, and the vengeful spirit like sees her, and she's like, and tells the kids like, sorry, Larry, spoilers, but it's like, if you hang out with this Sadako, you're gonna die. Yeah. but that vengeful spirit, like the way the vengeful spirit does it, is like, I like you kids. So word of advice, because they kind of helped her inadvertently and to find peace. So she's like, hey, before I leave, I can't let you go without telling you this. That whole interaction to me was fucking tight, like masterpiece. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll give the caveat that I didn't get to finish the whole thing, so keep that in mind with my rating. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It was interesting, the subversion of what I was expecting to have read. So, and I would definitely read more. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. But I need to keep reading. Yeah. I know we got to talk about A Town Called Terror, so we should definitely do that too. We also have a caller, so I think we do. Yeah, I don't know. Let me go real quick here and just double check. Caller.
Hello.
You're the 4th member of Fantastic Forum. Tell people who you are, where you're calling from, and what you want to talk about.
This is Derek H. I'm the bro from NoHo. Here to, I saw you guys talking about Sadako, and have you guys seen Girls Last Tour? I'm sure Joe's seen it.
I've seen an episode or two, like not the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
It's about a couple of girls in a wasteland, and I guess the aftermath of at the end of the world, just traveling and just trying to get through life day to day, and it's really good, and it's really I'm usually depressed, so it's really depressing, so I liked it a lot. really good.
It's what is it, like a TV show, or is it like?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. It's a TV show. It's like
nice
12 episodes or something.
And what is it called again?
Girls Last Tour.
Okay.
I was just looking some of the comic art, and because it's a manga too, and they're put out by Yen Press, which put out this Sadako at the end of the world. So they're gonna be getting my money. I'm gonna see if they're They're publicly traded too. Cause I got
Nice.
$20 extra in my portfolio.
I
There
put all
you
my money
go.
in Bitcoin, so I don't got no money.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
It was
fair.
going. I saw something on TikTok said it was going to go up, so I bought it. And then yesterday I looked at they had a big signs about cryptocurrencies failing, and then they had a one of those graphs that they usually show, and it was just going
Mm-hmm.
straight down. And I was like, oh, that's not good. Like I don't know how this stuff works, but I'm pretty sure the graph's not supposed to go straight down like that.
Right. Right.
Oh, the thing
Are
is,
they in a tank?
yeah,
Yeah, they
they're like
drive around in like
military.
a little tank. That's all. It's not really a tank. It's just a.
Like
It doesn't have like guns or nothing on it.
yeah, it's like a
Oh,
Humvee, like one of those Humvee with the nine wheels.
got it. Okay. And so the thing on Prime, it's animated?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact,
Girls
the
Last
more I think about it, the more I'm pretty sure I'm gonna after I hang out with you guys, I'm gonna start watching it again because it's that good. It's incredible.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Wow, look, we will take that recommendation. Appreciate that, Derek.
Might have to do a one shot on
Did,
it.
yeah, Derek, real quick, because we still got to get to our review of A Town Called Terror, but did you have any thoughts on that She-Hulk trailer?
I don't think you guys should don't. It upsets me when people start talking about the CG so soon, saying CG looks bad, because it's the exact same thing that happened to Ang Lee's Hulk when when people saw that early. They said the CG looked bad, and I was like, that was not the final CG. This is not the final CG, people. They're gonna fix.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great, but it's a Disney Plus TV show that they're putting out a bunch of scenes early. It's going to get better and better and better and better. It's going to look good by the time it comes out.
The thing is, if you're trying to get people to watch it, like it should, you got to give, it's marketing. Like none of the Mandalorian scenes ever looked unfinished.
Well, they also remember they kept pushing this sucker back. This was supposed to come out what 5-6 months ago.
Yeah, they had an extra time to make it look good.
No, that's not how this works, Mo. That's not how this works.
That's fair. I think all of us here believe it's going to be a good show, Derek. So
yeah,
you don't have to. You definitely don't have to worry about any of us here not watching it. Obviously, I don't think any of us are. Huh?
I'm worried about Tiger Claw. Tiger Claw's going to start bad mouthing.
Oh, got you. Like I don't think that I don't think any of us are rooting for it to lose, except for maybe Oz, but he's not here. But the fact is, I think more than anything, I think more so it was just like it looks so unfinished. And I was telling Mo earlier today, and I'm not sure, I might have said this on the show too, but I know the CG is going to look better in the show itself than in the trailer that we saw. But I was just shocked personally, only because I'm not usually the guy that looks at a trailer and it's like, oh man, the CG looked bad. But I looked at this and I was.
This is a small price to pay to seeing a tall green-haired girl having sex on Disney.
Hey, listen. You're
hoping there's sex in it on Disney.
When they ended with the lift with her pulling off the lift and carry fetish, I was like, "Ooh, how did they know? How did they know?"
He said, "How did they know?" Derek has been waiting to have a woman that can lift him up all these years.
I actually had a mic.
That's textbook right there. Lift and carry. Oh, come on, man. Come on.
I actually have I had a mic at Derek's house when he watched the trailer. It's like at the end.
It's funny because we can see you. We can see you, Moses.
I know.
That makes it funnier.
Yeah.
And they even say, "Hey, your ass looks great in that dress." Like, oh damn, yes, I'm here for this. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
well,
it's going to be
great.
Even if it's bad CGI, I think it's still gonna be good. It's just gonna be a good like comics. It's gonna be a good comic with bad art.
And She-Hulk has had some bad art too.
Yeah, I know. You put up with that bad art, so I know that's why you're with this show. You're okay.
I'm down.
Yeah, you're down.
Well, when we review it after the premiere, Derek, you should make sure you come on and sit with us so we can all talk about it together, man.
I'm just gonna say it's good, and then I'm gonna go get whatever Moses says about her outfit not being the right color. And
man,
that's the wrong shade of purple. Where's the Fantastic Four costume at?
I'm not that dude no more, man. I'm 39 years old now. I just look at what I enjoy. I just talk about what I enjoy now. That's it. Yeah.
Plus, also the friggin' the costume looks like comic accurate for the most part.
Yeah. The poster looks comic accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, dude, they definitely are going to the source material, and we got Frogman, which I don't know why.
I remember back when Disney bought Marvel, and we were at Larry's house, and we're talking about what could. And I said a She-Hulk sitcom, and I remember Derek poo-pooed my idea, and now we're getting it.
That'd be that's a great idea.
Yeah. Now, yeah. But here we are.
I remember 20 years ago when X-Men came out, and people say, well, they can't do the costumes. The costumes look stupid. That's why they got these leather jackets on, because the costumes look dumb. And now every Marvel property that comes out has the accurate costume, and it looks great. Clea shows up with an accurate costume. You don't even know who Clea is, and they still gave her the right costume.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. It's my world, man. It's finally coming into. It's finally coming into. Everything's falling into place.
No, listen. Fantastic Four from day one was like, man, you can make those costumes look just like the comic. Like none of us here were ever like, no, that's not. Like, that doesn't make sense.
In Logan, like the deleted scene is what people like the most. Like that one Wolverine costume. They're like, why wasn't that in the movie? You know, and it's like those movies are the perpetrators of like giving you realistic costumes. You know. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're going to get into this review real quick. Derek, you going to hang on or you want to dip out?
No, I don't want to go. I don't need to hear you talk about no scary movies. I don't watch scary movies.
It's a comic book. So, but
I'm getting ready for the last Halo episode tonight, so I'm going to watch that.
That sounds fair.
Cool, Fantastic Forum, away!
Dude, I need to start signing off like that.
Yeah. Huh? I'm gonna isolate that. That's gonna play along with the.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty awesome. All right, so A Town Called Terror. Why don't you tell us about it, Moses?
A Town Called Terror is sorry, I was directing my own camera. It is a horror comic on Image by Steve Niles and Simon Kudranski. And that's it. That's the cover right here.
There you go.
But it's this is what I call cinematic comic book storytelling, because it feels like a movie. Like, and so that one issue is like the 10 minutes of a movie. I felt like I didn't get enough. I didn't get what I wanted. But it's basically the story of a dude that decides to live his life away from a town called Terror. He grew up there, grew up with his dad, didn't like his dad, left, and now he's called back because his dad died again. You have to read the comic. But he's kidnapped post-coitus. And his wife is like, what the fuck happened to my husband? Like, he's been missing. And he's like, oh, he's over 18. You know, you got to wait 24 hours. It's like, no, but these dudes just came in and kidnapped them, like post-coitus. And the police officer like, yeah, whatever, man, and then it shows you the art in here is it's
Red. It's
red.
very red.
It's very red. Yeah.
Red.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, it's shrouded in darkness, so it's like hyper detailed, but you can't even see it. And but red is one of the accents, which is why my accent here is red today. And but it really does have this cinematic feel and flow to the story. Issue 2 came out today. I was trying to read it so I can review both of them at once, but instead you're gonna have to get a one shot. So you're gonna have to subscribe, like, hit the bell, to see what we really think about this, because this story doesn't give you much. Like I feel like I can't even really review issue 1 without reviewing reading issue 2 at least, because all that happened was the dude, his inner monologue told you what he hated about his town, and then he's sucked back. He's just thrown into it. But we don't know what he's going to do in that town. We don't know. There's no sense of what his dad wants from him. I get the sense that he's the heir to some legacy that he was running away from, which is, it's a typical type of story, not even in this type of horror story thing.
Wait, so Mayor, did you also not read issue 2?
No, I read issue 2.
Oh, okay.
Damn you guys.
I read issue 2 also.
I'm so mad for taking a nap.
Dude, the best thing about issue 2 is that one of the panels has blue instead of red. Like, that's the only thing of note in issue 2.
Yeah, so it's still the same vibe, like the same.
Yeah, the art is too dark and too red, and you get one panel of blue. You get one police officer that's willing to look into the kidnapping, even though real world, when you report someone missing, like, they're supposed to go look for him. Like, I don't know why the cops aren't, but you have one person looking, and then the dude goes off to a bar and he beats up Stitches, and the whole thing is that he's supposed to help his mom do something, and they don't say what. They just have the blue panel, which is like, you can't turn your back on family, and then his mom goes back to being dark red. No, that's his dad. They don't show the mom yet.
Oh, okay.
They show the dad, and they show his sister at the pool hall before he rips that guy apart.
Okay, so at least you get some more action-y stuff in issue 2.
Yeah, and
it's
I will
too dark to see anything that's happening.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hilarious. No, it's.
I know movies will do that sometimes because they can't really give, they don't have the budget for effects,
right? Yeah,
and but this is a comic, dude, turn the fucking lights up, there's no reason for it to be this dark.
Yeah,
there's no reason for this,
and that's why
pretentious. And speaking of how pretentious this damn book is, it starts out with Bach's fucking Air Overture Suite number 3, in D major, which is a boring ass song. I tried listening to it again, and it's not as boring the second time.
Yeah.
But Christ, is it oh my God, it's so it's not even one of the okay, I'm not a huge I know a little about classical music. I'm not the hugest into it, but there are definitely better tracks to sew someone back together again too.
Vivaldi is perfect for that, because Vivaldi is all like that, but all on violin on a string instrument as you're sewing. So you hear a stringed instrument where, and it was Vivaldi, the bow loses strings while you're playing strings. So pulling strings tight and everything Vivaldi would be the perfect atmosphere. If I were to consult on the movie version of this book, I'd switch that to Vivaldi, and then I'd be mad at myself when I review it on the show for picking the wrong track.
Right. He's like, why did he just use Bach? It says
Yeah.
he clearly says Bach.
It tells you
in the
what to play.
Right. Listen, I will say that my opinion of this book falls basically in between the two of your opinions.
Yeah.
In the sense that I honestly, I was really disappointed with issue 1.
Yeah.
Because especially like Steve Niles is good.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of the criticisms Joe has with issue 1 and 2, I felt about issue 1 because I was just like, but more so because I was just like, it didn't give me enough to be like, oh, I need to read the next issue. Because I'm just like, what is happening in this book? I don't know. And like the art, I don't have a problem with the art because I think the art is detailed, and I do agree. Like, it is only doing a red color palette, but I feel like that is like it is setting like kind of a tone. My issue isn't the art; it's more of the writing, and it's like it didn't feel like it gave me enough for me to like be like, okay, I'm in on this book because I don't know what this book's about still when I get to the end of issue 1. When I get what I will give is just like you said, Mo. The guy is from the town, and you know that he doesn't want to be there, and he's coming back, and it's just like, okay. But the book is called like A Town Called Terror. I'm like, when I get to the end of the book, I don't know why the town is called Terror. You know what I'm saying, or what about the town is so terrifying?
But that's hilariousm. That's a thing we could just say it's part of the mystery.
See, but that's the thing where it's like, look, I'm not saying you got to reveal the mystery, but you got to intrigue me by the end of the book for me to buy the next issue. And I'm not intrigued, I'm just confused. So at least that's how I felt. And but I knew that, okay, well, we're probably going to read 1 and 2. Yeah. So I read the second one, and the second one was like, there's a part of me that kind of feels like issue 1 and issue 2 should be edited together into one book.
And that's kind of when Joe was talking when he so vaguely told me about what happened in issue 2. I'm like, you know what? I think this if issue 1 was a double-sized issue and it contained that part, but when you say edit it together into one issue, I think that's what I would have want.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing where it's like it doesn't even need to be a double issue because it's like there's a lot happening in the first issue that you don't necessarily need, and it's not to say that you don't need the story beats. It's just that
3 are a splash page, and it's impressive.
Yeah, and I won't even say get rid of that. Right. I won't even say get rid of that splash, even though it's like, okay, yeah, I don't feel like the splash is like so. It is impactful, but it's not so impactful that if you need space, you can't put that onto one page. You know what I mean?
You could have put caption boxes in these 2 pages to move the story along.
That could have happened.
Go ahead. I think I do like the idea of like it just being a double-sized issue. Like, I think the 2 double-sized issue would help. One, like, I think like I don't like as much as I didn't like what was going on. I don't think I would want to cut any of it. Just make it brighter so I can see what's happening. And I will say, as the ending, the hook for at the end of episode or issue 2 is a slightly better hook than what you get at issue 1, which is just the town sign and population, or whatever. And I will say, like 2, the ending of issue 2 definitely made me consider like thinking about maybe asking Mo how issue 3 is.
No, but I mean, like, the premise of the book, like, the guy has built a life for himself outside of this town. And he goes back to the town reluctantly, or not reluctantly. He goes back forcibly. But you don't understand why, or you don't know why he's being brought back at the end of issue 1. You don't know why he doesn't want to be at the town at the end of issue 1. And then issue 2, those questions get answered for you. And it's like, that feel to me, I know when I read issue 2, I was like, I feel like this is all issue 1 stuff. like I need, like, this is what is the interesting part of your story. And it's like, you left it out of the first issue. Like, and here's the thing. You could have told me one of these two things, and it might have been a better first issue. But realistically, you didn't tell me either one of them. And I'm just like, damn, like, so you just want, like, I feel like you're coasting on a name at this point. You're like, well, I'm Steve Niles. And it's like, I get it. Like, Steve Niles is, like, for some people, and for a good portion of people, like, especially people that like horror stuff, like, I get it. Like, maybe he's playing directly to his audience. I'm obviously not, like, I like Steve Niles. I know how good he is as a writer. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely give anything he wrote the benefit of the doubt. However, I'm not a horror comic dude. So for me, I'm just like, if I wasn't doing this for the show, I don't know if I would have read issue 2. I would have walked away from this like, damn, like, maybe Steve Niles has lost a step.
I will say,
and so
I almost didn't buy issue 2.
Yeah.
But I saw it was coming out today. So I figured, okay, for the show, it'll be like,
yeah,
I could
talk
about wanting to.
I did the same thing.
If it had come out if it had been coming out next week, I wouldn't have got, like, pre-ordered it.
I'm the one that fucked up this week.
And so, just because this is what we do, it was like, well, let me see what it's about. And so I read it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's more interesting, and I get it now more so. And when I say you edit it down together into one issue, it doesn't have to be, like, I don't know for a fact that the first issue is like 22 pages or 24 pages or whatever, but I'm thinking it's something around there. And what I'm saying is, at this point in reading comics, I understand that you have to talk about things in the economy of the page to a degree. And it's like, they take a lot of liberties in issue 1, where, like, even putting the dude together, they put the father together, and that joint happens over a lot of pages. Yeah. And I get that.
I even thought it was going to be a silent comic where, okay, it's all ambiance. And because of that, because they show box thing, and I'm like, I'm down with it. Like, I'm ready for this journey. And then it changes into something else.
They actually want you to listen to the song while you're, like, looking at those pages.
Yeah. But
I'm not going to do that.
Why do they want you to? How do you know that they want you to do that?
Because they show you.
They give you the music, and then the amount of page thing they spend
is timed
during this process. Like, it just, I don't know if there's a way to say it other than, like, I knew that's what he wanted from me, and I didn't give it to him.
Right.
Well, guess what? I didn't even realize that. I was just in here like, why are we spending so much time?
Well, he's a musician. Like, Steve Niles is a musician.
So that's true. Right.
Yeah. So he's definitely, like, when
is he any good? Is he better than me?
Good. Yeah. He did some work.
He's just as good as Bach, dude. Steve Niles, Bach, right there. There.
He's done some work with musically with, like, fuck, that was the dude's name. the dude from Minor Threat and his record label. He's done some fill-in work there, and that's not like box stuff, but
Yeah.
He's a dude that writes comics that can fill in on that because he's a dude that knows box
Right.
stuff, you know what I mean?
And so, like when he wrote this joint, he could hear this joint in his head.
Right. And
that's the problem, is that all of us can't do that. Like I don't have that joint memorized. You know what I'm saying? So I can't hear it in my head when I'm reading this book. And if you don't explicitly tell me to put it on, like, listen, I'm down for the journey enough that if you explicitly tell me play Bach right here, starting now, I'll do that joint. Like Jay won't do it, but I'll do it.
You got reading on my phone, so
you need to ask.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know that that's what you want me to do. You got to tell me. Because I'm not in your head like that, Steve Niles. I don't know. Like if you tell it to me explicitly, I will follow your direction because you're Steve Niles. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, listen, I have faith in him. You know, I will put this music on. Like I guess I'm hoping it's on Tidal. You know what I'm saying? Like I think, but Bach is on Tidal though. But either way, what I'm saying is like I would do that if that's what he has said to do. But he mentions it, and I get it. Like, okay, I get it. Like, after you say it, Jay, it's like, yeah, he's like, I want you to be playing this music while, like, or at least I want you to imagine this music while this scene is happening. But, dude, I'm not cultured like that I have that on tap in my head. I don't have it. So I wasn't in the zone that he was in when he did that, and so now it feels deficient because I'm just like, why are we spending all these pages doing this? And it's like, oh, we spent all these pages doing this because the music's playing. Right, see? That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have known. Never in a million years would this be in my head. And that's not to say that there's not, like, I got classical music in my head, just it's not this. Yeah. It's not this particular Bach composition. You know what I'm saying?
It's Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. That's for me. Like it's like, man, if he's doing Bach, why can't he do Youth Gone Wild? You know? Or Subhuman Race. Like, it's like, no, look, Wasted Time by Skid Row is amazing. It's up there with this. Yeah.
So it just felt like there were a lot of pages that I personally didn't understand why we were using all these pages for these particular purposes, and not just assembling the body of old boy's father, but even like some of the scenes with the wife. It was just like, I'm just like, I don't. Why are we? But like, I get it.
With her, you're setting up the foil or a foil.
Yeah,
I guess, but I mean, you know that because of issue 2.
No, right? But even at the beginning, like the last page of issue 1 is her with the gargoyle like towering over her with a weird shadow. So you're like, okay, there's ramifications here, and she's gonna be part of it.
Yeah, but I think Jay's talking about the cop, right?
What was that?
Was setting up the foil? Are you talking about the police officer?
Oh, yeah, I did say that, but you could tell that because she gets like 2 scenes in the first book, and at the second scene, you know that she's going to be a continuing thing.
Yeah.
And okay. So she sets up the actual foil in issue 2, but you know she's going to be an element in issue 1.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, because even like the coitus, like, okay, it's just coitus. This guy's enjoying sex, and then he gets kidnapped. Whatever. Like, if it was a hooker, whatever, like, that's it. It's just a good scene. That's the Hollywood version, you know? But at the end, she's like, my husband's been kidnapped, you know?
Right.
Like, okay, so she's she's invested in this.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And he should have told her, my dad's this dude that gets reassembled, and I'm from a shitty town. I have this baggage. Like, that was irresponsible of him.
Indeed.
No, but for real, it is. Like, if you have that kind of baggage, like, you got to let her know, like, hey, at any given moment, they might give you an illusion that they're kidnapping me, and they are, but nobody else is going to see it.
It's one of those things where I kind of feel like when you understand what is actually happening with the town, you better understand why he might not have mentioned it to her.
I don't know, man. I guess. You know, I'm the one married.
It's definitely not a conventional kidnapping.
I'm the one married out of the three of us. And I know with my wife, look, if shit's going to go down, you need to know exactly how you're going to handle the police. You know, like, you don't want to, you don't want to be a part of it, but you also don't want to be too, like, oh, she don't know shit. You know, like, she needs to know for her protection, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I hear that. I hear that. And you're right. Like, I believe you, Moses. Like, I feel like if it was you, you would make sure Emily was prepared.
Yeah. Like, she would have probably helped me fight off the kidnappers. I'd be like, you know what? They're taking me. I'll be back. I'll come get you. Just chill. And then we wouldn't even have the police issue. She could choose to come or just chill, take care of the dogs while I deal with my, half assembled dad and my legacy.
and that's the whole thing. Like, I got to the end of the first issue, like, why is any of this happening? Like, I don't understand why any of this is happening, and I'm not sure why I should care. And that's the whole sin of issue 1 for me, because it's like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know why I should care. But when I read issue 2, I was like, oh, like, both of those questions got basically answered for me. Like, oh, I have a better understanding of what's happening now, and I understand more so why I should care.
So should we rate this thing, or do we have more?
No, I think we're probably there. What do you think, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm there. I only read issue 1.
Yeah.
So we already went beyond, and we already went beyond time too. So
yeah, Mo, give us your rating.
It was an enjoyable experience, although albeit a confusing one. The art, I didn't have the problems that Jay did have. So for me, it's about a 4. I did enjoy it, even the first 10 minutes of an hour-long TV series. But I rather have this than what they did to October Faction on Netflix. So I rather have A Town Called Terror be this way than wait for the Netflix version that will be what maybe you guys want, and it won't be nearly as edgy or good.
There it is. Jay, what about you, buddy?
I did not enjoy this. It was too dark. Right? And I read it on my phone, and I thought that might have been an issue. But even when I looked at a couple of pages on my panel, it was like, no, this is too dark and too red. And I'm just not feeling it. Like, it might have some interesting concepts.
But you won't get those till issue 4.
Yeah, I'm out. So I would give it a 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I will say that, if I had read issue 1 on its own, I would probably give this a 3. But because I read issue 2 as well, and between issue 1 and 2, I'd probably give it like 3.75, bordering on a 4. It's like it's interesting, and it has some concepts that I'm definitely I'm genuinely interested in. Issue 1 isn't a good first issue, but the comic itself very well might end up being a good comic book series. So I would recommend it and say give it a try. So yeah, overall 3.75, bordering on a 4. All right. So folks, it's time to get out of here. We've given you all we've got. Jay, give me some final thoughts, friend.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna do an actual review for Jason X or Freddy versus Jason, but the short, long story short, they're both 5 out of 5. Amazing movies, so much fun and so classic. Yeah, that's it. Jason X, Freddy versus Jason, both 5 out of 5.
Just for the record, Jay, you've seen or haven't seen either one?
I've seen both.
Got it.
I saw both in theaters, and I own digital copies of both, so I can watch them whenever I want.
Got it. Okay, cool. Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Look, we're now legitimized. We have a respected member of the press in our midst. So you got to go read Larry Young's articles on CBR.com because, we're going to take over that site too, eventually. But he actually made me think about, all these things with AXE, I'm like, all these things are things you could even possibly think about before it's out, like what you want to see in that listicle. And I'm like, if that's what it is, I got to start reading this shit too, So, you did a good job, Larry. I commend you. And if you need a photographer for any article or anything, I'm here.
Thanks, Mo.
And he had to take that job. He had to settle for that job because you motherfuckers didn't buy our merch. But if you did buy our merch,
it's so true.
At fantasticforum.live. You can get a t-shirt, hat, a coffee mug. I didn't get a coffee mug, but I got a shirt. But he had
to do the mug you're sporting right now.
This one, Emily got me an early. Yeah, got me an early Father's Day. Early Father's Day present.
Yeah, that's cool as shit.
Yeah, I like it. It's very minimalist, but it's black and white and it's bold. I like it. But yeah, aside from that, Oz got his unboxing videos. Loot Crate's fucking him over. I think he paid for like 2-year subscription in advance, and they're not sending shit. So now he's buying other collectibles so that he can show you what shit to do. I'm like, I tell him, why don't you just read comics and review comics on our one shots, like on our one-off videos? But he's like, no, I like it. Gives me an excuse to buy these toys. So, yeah. So
listen, Alex is definitely not buying toys. That fool's buying statues.
Yeah.
This fool's buying fine art.
That last Catwoman thing was 40 pounds.
Dude, like, it's amazing. Even
lift it on the table.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, but all that is happening on our channel, and you can get to that at fantasticforum.live. You can get our audio version, whatever. Be like Larry's dad and have your aunt listening and to fill you in what we're doing.
For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. Please do as Moses says, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear, what you enjoy that we're doing, what you would like to hear less of. We want to know. We want your feedback. It's an interactive thing. We're the Fantastic Forum. We'll be back next week. Until then, good night.